What's going on, everybody? It's me, Ryan, the host of the Classic Buffalo Podcast, the podcast that seeks to make people feel a little bit less alone in these times of the world. We do that by sharing everyday people's stories like yourself, just by having about an hour and a half conversation with everyday people about whatever they're passionate about. Today, we are talking with an old friend I met through Vintage Indie, the clothing company, reselling platform, whatever, that I've been running for the last 3 years. So she's a great friend of mine. We've done modeling together, and I've always hooked her up with a lot of really cool things. And we just talk about a lot of different goofy types of things in today's episode, as well as a little bit of domestic abuse, some crazy things that happen in her life. And overall, it's just a random, wonky, fun episode. And I hope you enjoy it. So without further ado, today is another episode. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day that we interview the wonderful, the awesome Emily. What's up, Emily?
Hi.
How are you today? This wonderful, snowy, terrible outside weather.
I'm freezing. I'm cold. My bones hurt. So that's how I'm going.
You feel like you're 65 years old already?
I'm grandpa for a reason. That's me. I'm grandpa through and through.
You give off an old soul vibe. Have you ever gotten that before?
No, actually.
Really?
No, I've been given off that I act old, but not that my soul is. I feel like it's just me being grumpy, arthritis, not liking children for the most part, and then the way I dress, of course. So.
Right, yeah.
Cats are cooler on shirts, but that's just my opinion.
Do you have any cats?
Yes, she is not nice cat. Her name is Isis.
Okay,
so
that kind of makes sense.
Well, she was named back when Al-Qaeda was the problem and ISIS wasn't a thing.
Oh, okay.
So she was named after the Egyptian goddess, but just really brought her out. She just doesn't like anything with a pulse is not cool. Me is fine. She loves me, but anything with a pulse, it's attack immediately.
So did you have her since she was young?
She was born with some chick, and then my best friend Nicole took her as a more kitten.
Yeah.
And then I was living with her for a while. Then I didn't like cats, surprisingly. And
it is surprising.
And she knew that, so she was like, "All right, challenge accepted." And then one time she fell asleep on my lap for 2 hours, and then I immediately picked her up, put her on the ground. She acted all wobbly. It was funny, and I was like, all right, she's cool. And then she just lived in my room, and now she lives in my house with me alone. So,
what's the best and worst part about being a cat owner?
The best is she's super sweet and purrs and acts like I am what is sent from above every time I walk in the house. But the worst is that she's Satan, so it's hard to. She wants friends, but she's not good at letting people in. So.
Do you want one of those scratching posts? Do you have one of those?
Yeah, it's the people that come in my house. No, she's got. I built her a tower because I love her with everything in me.
Yeah.
So it's got scratch posts down that. There's a few. She's got little different things in every room because she needs to make sure that it's all her house. Because if I don't, she's gonna make it her house anyway. So.
Do you have a gecko or a fish? Do you have an alternate?
She would murder.
Okay, so that's all you have, just a cat.
That's all I can have.
If you could have any animal in the world and you have to take care of it, what would you have?
Rats.
Rats, like plural.
I mean, as many as they allow me. They're so smart and sweet and cuddly and just
This is a hot take right now.
Love rats.
Would you live in New York City?
No, those are bad rats. Those rats need help and to be cared for. The rat that my friend has was one of those. They were going to be tested on, I think, and then some lady or some chick took it, kept it in a box, and then he escaped. And then my friend was like, "I'm gonna go ahead and take that rat home. It's gonna be mine." And now he is the best rat in the world.
You'd have rats. What would you name them?
Kevin.
Kevin.
They'd all probably be Kevin. I'm gonna be honest.
I love the idea of naming them all the same thing.
I mean, Kevin, next time you look at an animal, just be like, it kind of looks like a Kevin. Kevin, he looks like a Kevin.
Did your parents like have an alternate name for you, or were they like Emily since day one?
Well, I was gonna be Jake. I was actually thinking about that today. I was gonna be, if I was a boy, I was gonna be Jake from 16 Candles. Because my mom.
16 Candles? What is that?
The movie 16 Candles.
I've never seen it.
Do you know what it is?
No, I have no idea.
You don't know what the movie 16 Candles?
No.
What?
No.
That's like a classic.
Is it what is it about? Birthday?
Well, yeah. So when she turns 16 and she loves Jake. Oh my God.
All right, well, inform me because I legit don't know what this is.
That's like with all, oh my God. That's like with like Pretty in Pink and Breakfast Club, 16 Candles. I associate all those together. Do you know what the Breakfast Club?
Yeah, I know what the Breakfast Club is. Okay. Wait, is it in the same universe?
No, what? I don't know. Maybe. No?
You said you smacked. Oh!
No, I associate those all together.
Oh!
Like, those are like the same kind of.
I thought you said they were like, it's the same universe.
It's like Black Mirror and you don't know it yet.
Okay.
16 Candles is.
Oh, okay.
It's not.
For whatever reason.
That's a joke.
Yeah. For whatever reason, I was thinking of 16 going on 30. Remember?
That's 13 going on 30.
Yep. So close. Yeah. And obviously, don't know that one either.
I can't wait to be 13 just so I can say 30, flirting, and thriving. I love that movie. I love movies, so it's kind of hard to not please me in a movie.
Well, that was good. Off to a great start. I didn't even.
16 Candles. I can't even believe that. That's wild. People are like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. The comment section.
They're going to be like, all right, kid.
Unsubscribe.
That's wild.
I mean, I just watched Ted. What was Bill and Ted Adventure? What's the one where they do time
With
travel?
the teddy bear? Oh.
No, the one where they time travel.
Bill and Ted's Wild Adventure.
Yes, something like that. I just watched
I
that.
don't think I've ever seen it.
Okay, well.
I haven't seen a lot of. I've never seen
Keanu Reeves.
I've never seen Forrest Gump because I don't have the time. I've never
seen.
It's like a 5-hour movie.
No.
Okay.
It's not Godfather level.
It's 3. I've never seen that. I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
I need a quick hour and a half movie, and I'm happy.
What's the longest movie you've ever seen?
Titanic, probably, because it came in 2 VHSs, so I could take a break. I can't.
Well, that's okay. Could Jack have been saved?
Yeah.
Can he fit on the raft?
No. Yeah, Rose sucks. Like, girl.
Come on. Rose sucks.
But then the good thing about that is Britney Spears, her boyfriend, dove to the bottom of the ocean to get the necklace that she dropped down there. So honestly, it kind of worked out. You ever heard that movie or that song? What? Britney Spears, Lucky. Mm-mm. He's like, I jumped out of the ocean to grab this for you. She's like, the one that the lady dropped at the end of the movie. You never heard that, man? All right. Britney Spears and 16 Candles. Okay. Write those down for yourself.
I've never heard of this Britney Spears before.
Well, the song Lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Have you seen there's going to be another Titanic that gets launched or whatever?
Why?
And then there's that Am I a Joke to You meme? Where it's like the black guy's like, am I a joke to you?
I'm real bad
at
the internet.
Yeah, it's like the iceberg. Am I a joke to you?
Oh, okay. Yes, I have seen that. Man, remakes, I'm just...
Not the movie. They're going to ship an actual ship called the Titanic. Like Titanic 2, kind of, not the movie. They're not doing
another movie?
No, it's like an actual ship. And so the joke is the iceberg's
Okay, I see what's happening. Okay, I get it. All right. I'm with the joke now.
What's your favorite meme? / what are your thoughts on memes?
I mean, I have a whole folder full of memes, but it's just reaction pictures mainly.
Yeah. How many memes do you have on your phone?
I'd say about 400.
400? Okay. Do you think that's a lot, average, or little? Like compared to...
I need more, but I need them to be able to let me section it out. Like, these are the ones for this kind of face or this kind of... Because it's so hard. I have 716. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. The reason why I'm asking is I went out with somebody and was like, we were just talking about memes or whatever, and they're like, I kind of have a lot. And I was like, well, how many do you have? And they're like, I know it's a little embarrassing, but 126 or something like that. And I was like, I have 1,700 on my phone.
I wish I had more. It's just hard for me to go through them all. I'm like, all right. It's just... Sometimes if you don't know what to say, a meme's honestly the best thing to do.
I feel like it's a great way to connect in between generations.
Because there's just certain faces or certain reactions that it just fits with the conversation. So I feel like everyone gets it. Yeah. And it's just funny. Except there's some things that I don't even get. Like the boomer thing, I don't get it. Some customer called me a boomer the other day, and I don't know.
You are not a boomer.
I've been called a boomer twice this year. I don't know if and not with the joke, there's certain, is that a meme? Is boomer a meme?
Apparently, yeah, okay. I mean, our parents are boomers. boomers.
That's what I'm saying. That's what okay.
And I think the meme is becoming like anyone who's in like their mid-20s to early 30s are like, oh, boomer. Like, you're so old. Like, that's becoming a thing now, I guess.
Like, I didn't even say anything to the guy on the phone. I said, hi, this is Emily with the company I work at. And he said, no, you're not Emily. You're a boomer. And I was like, what? And I go, all right, you have a good day.
So let's talk about your life here. That's why we're on.
Oh, yes, sorry.
So day one. Oh, not your fault.
Got distracted about memes. Memes.
Day one, you emerge out of your mother.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you at? Like, are you in Indy?
Bloomington, Indiana.
Okay. So did you grow up there, or were you quickly like back up here to Indy?
I lived in Bloomington for like, I'd say like 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 8 years, and then I moved to, because I moved around. So I probably was here until I was like 10 or something, or Bloomington until I was 10.
Okay.
Then I moved to Knoxville, Tennessee.
Wow.
Peyton Manning was he did our homework hotline. He called the homework hotline. Hi, this is Peyton Manning. Hey, Peyton.
Wait, Peyton Manning had a homework hotline?
Yeah, for my school, Rocky Hill Elementary.
How did that? I'm so intrigued right now.
So you have to call to see where your homework was.
Okay.
And I called, and he said, hi, this is Peyton Manning. Call Rocky Hill Elementary. Press 1 for Mrs. Blunt. Press 2 for, but it was just Peyton Manning. He played for the Bulls.
Wow. Oh, my God. So I thought you could call him to just, like, help with your homework.
That would be super, like an online tutor. Like, Peyton Manning tutored me in elementary.
Okay, so it's just like he did the voice.
He was just the voice. And he would go to our things and stuff. So.
Okay. Wow, even famous because he went to the University of Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wow. Talk about growing up that first, what was your family like? Just anything going on in that first, 12 years between Bloomington and Tennessee.
Big Hoosier family.
Okay. Named
our dog after a guy that played on IU, AJ Guyton. It was just country. Like, we lived in the country. Like, I just rode four-wheelers and was outside all the time. I don't know. It was just all country. It was cool. Like, I had like 4 neighbors. I don't know. It was nice. We were always just like a country family, like living in Indiana. But
do you have brothers or sisters?
I have my older brother, Alex.
Okay.
He's like 31, I think.
Yeah. What's the relationship there?
Used to not be tight. Used to fight a lot. Real whatever. But now he's like my buddy. He's cool. He got me into like all the cool stuff. He got me to Gucci Mane, which is like my dad. And he just got me into good music and
When did that start? Like, where you saw that change?
When he went to college, he because he was always so mean to me that he freaked out, I think, before he went to college and started like messaging all my guy friends. It was like, if you hurt my sister, I'm gonna beat your ass. And I was like, it's not like that. Those are like my friends. And I'd never seen that side of him. And I was like, okay. And so then I think he just like grew up and was like, I probably should be a brother. And then he had my nephew, and me and my nephew were like best friends. So him and I just grew closer because of him. And he grew up because the kid will do that.
It's the same thing with me. Kind of like when I was like late high school, and then when I got into college was when we're both over 18, because I'm 9.5 years. Like 9.5 years difference. So it was kind of like once I started to get closer to like later teen, becoming an adult, he's like, okay, now we can have like conversations.
Yeah, right.
About life, instead of being like almost like a babysitter for so long.
I guess I can see that.
And then getting into music and all that stuff. Like, my brother was pretty formative towards the more recent last 10 years than the first.
Oh yeah.
But I was just been curious, like, would you ever change like the way you grew up?
No. I know how to beat ass now. Like, and that was one thing he was like, I know I at least taught you how to fight. Like, you did. Like, I don't fight ever. Like, I'm like, let's just be friends. But I mean, I could be scrappy, and it's because he just like, I don't know. I think he was just doing that because he's a shithead. But I think he's also like, learn to fight for yourself because you're a dork and you're gonna get made fun of. And I was like, all right, cool. That's fine. Right. It just, I feel it builds character. My dad and my aunt were like that, and now they're best friends. So I feel like it's just like, what's it called when you get into a sorority, like probate or whatever?
Rush,
yeah, it's like rush.
Okay.
Before, life. You got to go through the bullshit to be like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So.
what are some like memories from growing up, whether through childhood or like middle school, that kind of stick out to you, good or bad?
3rd grade, I peaked,
You peaked.
I peaked in 3rd grade. I don't know. Anyways, I was in Tennessee, but I worked with like the kids with like special needs. Like they let us do that. And it was so cool. I was just like, man, like they were all super nice. And I was like, I'd like to do this. And then like seeing how people like treat those kids now, I'm like, damn. But you don't get paid shit for shit. And I'm like, well, that's probably why they got bad people there.
Yeah.
So it sucks. But that was always like a highlight to me, is I just liked working with them because they were super sweet. It's like an animal kind of, like they're just so genuine. Like everything they show you is true. And I'm like, you're mad at me, you're going to throw stuff at me, and that's cool. Like I get it. That's how you need to get your anger out. But when you're nice to me, it's, even more genuine. Yeah.
It's just kind of hard financially.
It's just like $30K a year or something, and I feel like it could go more, but I don't know. I would get summers off though, which is cool.
What would you do with like a whole summer off?
I'd probably get a part-time job. I would go crazy. I would be stuck inside with my cat all day, and I would lose my mind.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Oh, I'm super introverted. Like, I'll be extrovert if I need to be, but I prefer not to be. I'd rather be not in public if I don't have to be. And it's just because I'm, like, talking to people all day, every day, and I just deal with shitty people. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with the shitty people on the outside, too. Like, when I was younger, I went to like a private Christian school, and I was me who loved like Good Charlotte and My Chemical Romance, and I wanted to wear black. People were like, she's goth. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I had like 3 friends, and still best friends with the same person I was friends with there. And I don't know, it was nice having somebody like always there with you, because you're like, you're not like weird, like you're just not like them, and that's cool. My mom was also always just, I was a sparkle in her eye, so she didn't make me not, I don't know, my parents were super tight, thankfully. I had great parents, and they were just like, you're the shit. I'm like, you're right. And then, I don't know, I just grew into it, and I'm like, it's just too uncomfortable to not be who you need to be, and I'm like, I'm weird, I'm goofy, old people call me unique. Like, that's their nice way of saying you're weird. Like, I don't care. I'm just like, I'm happy and I'm comfortable, and it just makes me who I am. So
how did you get there? Like, kind of fully, we're talking like all cylinders, I am myself.
I don't know, I had a lot of shitty friends who, like, I just love everybody. Like, I just want to, like, make everyone happy and just heal all the broken wounds, and I just want to make everybody happy. And so I would see like all the good attributes in all these people, and they turn out to be dog shit. And I'm like, all right. So I just kind of learned like I need friends, and relationships will, like, they're not supposed to be difficult. And I'd always just be like, it's exhausting, like being with this person, or it's exhausting, like being friends with this person. And my mom's like, you're not supposed to be like physically exhausted after like a day of relationship. I'm like, yeah, I guess that's true. Like, and I'm just such like a calm and whatever person. Like, I've always been that way. I've never been whatever. And I would always just like have nutty people in my life. Like, I had a friend who I told her she couldn't go to a show with me because she was going to be off like 4 hours later, and she like ripped her shirt off and like punched a hole in the wall. I'm like, dude, like, why me? I feel like I was just like taking away from myself to give to these people that were giving me absolutely nothing back. And now I'm just like surrounded by people that don't want me to be anything bad. So it's just like, it's easier to be like, I'm not gonna like give myself to a person who's not willing to be like, hey, if you need this, I'm going to give you that too. Like, it's not just a give type thing. So I feel like it just helps with the people in your life. You give off what you give, and if you have good people around you, they're going to give back. So
yeah. How do you audit your circle when conflict isn't your main, thing? You kind of just slowly like.
I'm just like Homer Simpson in the bush. I'm like, goodbye. Like, I'm super bad. And that's one thing I did have to learn. I had to learn, like, like, I would date people for like 6 months, a year longer than I wanted to, because I'm like, God, I don't want to break up with them. Like, that's going to be a whole thing, and I have to have a conversation, like, but now I learn, I'm like, okay, like, you have to confront those issues. If you're having problems with a person, friend, relationship, parent, whatever, like, you have to say it. If they're not going to reciprocate, then fuck them. Like, you don't, like, all right, cool. Like, I tried, and like my first relationship, like I was not allowed to tell him how I felt. I was like, no, like if I say something, it's my fault, and then it's just, so I just never did, and then I was conditioned that way, if you will. I can talk about feelings, and they will be taken seriously and validated. So it happens, and then it did happen, and then I was like, all right, cool. I'm fine with that. I'll do it more. So.
Do you think you're kind of getting that out of your current relationship?
Yeah, my little dilly bar, he doesn't let me. And that was like the first thing. I was like, first time we were going to hang out. Like we technically met on Tinder, but I didn't reply back to his message. And then he added me on Snapchat and then hit me with the funnies. And I was like, all right. Like,
with the funnies.
He's so funny. And I was like, all right, that's cool. And so then we were going to hang out. And I always did the thing, we're like, yeah, we can hang out this day. And then I would ditch him because I'd rather be inside and not with people I don't know. And then like we're going to plan for a day. And I was like, yeah, I'll let you know if anything comes up. He's like, nothing's going to come up. We're either going to hang out or we're not. Like, you're not going to do that. All right, that's cool. And then, I was just upfront with him. I was like, this is like what I dealt with. Like,
Day one, you told him a lot.
Not day one. That was like a couple months in. So I was still trying to allow myself to get there, because the relationship I was in before, like, I couldn't tell him anything that was wrong because I never did anything wrong. And I'm like, I know I'm like super like cool and I'm like perfect, but like also I probably do things wrong. Yeah. So it was just, he put me on a pedestal and I could never, and so it was just like a whole thing. And I was like, I need a person to like be upfront with me. Like, if I'm acting like a bitch, you need to tell me, like, don't call me a bitch, but like, you need like, hey, slow your jets. Or if I'm acting like I'm pissed, like, don't just try to like shower me in love. Be like, what's your deal? Like, because people have never spoken to me like that, because I'm just too nice. So, and so he will, like, I'll just, like, I cry all the time just for no reason, wind blows weird, I'm like, oh God. And like, sometimes I'll just be crying, and then I try to like act like I wasn't. He's like, can you not do that? He's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I just, I have a lot of feelings. And so then he lets me talk about it. He's just,
that's good.
It's a very good yin yang. He's very, I don't want, to love anything, and I'm like, I'm going to love you all, and then he's like, I'm going to tell you what's wrong, and I'm like, cool. So it's just a very good, very good, whatever.
What's been one of the best parts about the relationship?
Like I was saying before, like I always just wanted to like take care of people, and like my parents had always wanted to fix people, which I just see like broken people that I know that shouldn't be broken, that could like, they have so much love, and then some people just don't want to take it. But he, like, I could just see, like, he just never really had, like, he had, like, dated before, but, like, his relationships all sucked. And then he didn't have one for a while because he was like, I'm not going to waste my time anymore. So then I feel like I just got to see that side of him super early. And it was just, like, just be such, like, a little sweetie pie. Like, people don't expect that because he's burly, if you will. But he's strong. He's bulky. But he's just such an angel. And it's just nice to be able to see, like, oh, people can be, like, actually kind to you if you're kind to them back. And, like, if just because they've gone through shit doesn't mean they're not going to, like, love you and take that out on you or whatever. So it's just been nice to have, like, a connection that I still get butterflies when I see him. It's been like 3 years. I'm like, I'm so corny with him. It's stupid. I'm like, I love it.
I think you guys started dating a little bit before I started Vintage Indie. Mine's 3 years in March.
Oh, really? Well, I guess it's not our technical anniversary is in July, but we started hanging out in like January. I was just very like, oh, no. I don't want a boyfriend. And then one day I was just like, you want to be my boyfriend? He was like, yes, God.
You were the one that brought it up?
No, he had brought it up. And I was like, ooh, commitment, gosh. And then it was just like a couple weeks later, I'm like, I miss you. And then
rest is history.
So it was, I guess, a little bit before.
You were one of the first people to support what I was doing.
Was, and you hit me with that quick follow, and you had a Sharks t-shirt I still wear and a Predators hat I still wear, and I was like, hockey. Tight. Yeah. And I'm always down to support the locals, so I was like, all right.
The person who bought the first thing ever was in town. They were actually like from Purdue, so like I would sell them stuff, ship it up to Purdue, and then like schedules just never got to meet them. Never. Yeah. Right after college, they go to New Zealand.
Oh.
So I still have never met this person.
That's wild.
And then they're in town last week. And I was like, can I thrift take a picture? You're the first person ever. And still didn't manage it. I was like, come on. It's
That's
like
wild.
The first person ever.
It's like my first dollar bill.
Yeah.
That's cool. I remember because it was like all sports. And you were like, I'm going to like do more than sports.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool.
What if I was going to ask you what you're passionate about? How would you answer that?
I don't know. Like, I just like helping people, but I don't know in what aspect. Like, that's why I do like my job, but I also hate it because, like, 90% people don't want you to help them. I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm just here.
So you're like in customer service for your current job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Make outbound calls all day.
All day.
I don't know. I don't know what I'd be. I mean, I guess taking care of people and I don't know. It's just like not like job motivated ever.
Yeah.
Like people always think I'm like, I like to work in film, but that's like not specific or practical.
Yeah.
I just like help people all day and get paid.
Yeah, I mean you're passionate about people. Like you've always taken care of people, it seems like. Being an introvert, you're very selective about those types of people, that you want in your inner circle. What is the one thing that people could come to you for advice about? The reason why I asked this is because I heard it's a clue as to what you would be good at for your career.
Yeah.
It's like, I want your advice on how to decorate my house or whatever. Like, that's what I heard.
Domestic abuse. Like I've always like thought like that'd be cool to work in because it comes in like so many different forms, and I'm just like, some people like really struggling and they don't even know it. Like, damn. So I don't know. It'd be cool, but it's hard like to like reach out about that stuff because a lot of people that are in it are just like they don't know, like they have no idea.
Yeah. And
they like a glimpse of them might know, but it's like, and then their people around them don't know because they ain't gonna tell them. They're gonna tell them about all the happy stuff, they're not talking about the sad stuff. And I'm just like, it's hard to get to that group of people. I feel like.
I heard that like you can kind of get into jobs that are like supporting for domestic abuse or just in general being like a sort of like an unlicensed counselor, if you will, for certain like adolescent issues, probably DCS, I'm sure, some form of that. Like, is that domestic child services? No, is that right? Child services, CS, I don't know.
CPS?
Yes. Making up acronyms.
I was like DP, and I was like, wait. D. I knew you were talking about, but
child services, like. I'm sure there's just certain jobs that I've heard that you don't necessarily need a degree, which seems to be always like a barrier. Like, well, I don't want to go get a master's.
And that's the thing is like so many things require a degree, and it's like I went to college and I was like, this shit sucks.
Yeah, what'd you get your degree in?
Well, I got my certificate because I went to 3 years and I could have passed math, and I'm like, okay. I got tutored by my teacher. He's like, it doesn't work, and I'm like, no. The head doesn't, numbers, shapes, all that doesn't work. So. But it technically got in like cinematography, like I did, like editing and stuff like that, which is what I prefer. But it doesn't really help me much.
You made YouTube videos before?
Not.
Yes, but I buried them.
Back in my day, I used to make like goofy ones. Had a lot of bands in high school. We're not serious. We're called All Nuts, so it was just like fun times. And no serious videos, or not serious, but like, I'm actually trying to be funny here. Yeah.
So what role has mental health played in your life, like across the years?
Well, my mom struggled with it a lot, and it didn't start until I think I was 22. and I didn't even know what was going on. I was like, everything sucks in my head. I'm like, I didn't even know what was going on. And then my mom was like, hey, how you doing? I was like, not cool. She's like, cool. Well, I'm going to tell you probably why. And I was like, right on. Thanks, Mom. So then I tried to go see my doctor, who was like 107 years old, and was just like I should not have talked to him. He was like, you want to kill yourself? I'm like, no, I'm just like, everything sucks. Like, yeah. I didn't know really how to approach it. So then I just tried taking my own routes, which were never healthy. And then
what'd you try?
Just lots of alcohol, just lots of like bad friends, bad times, bad decisions. So, but I just knew it wasn't good. I didn't feel good ever. And I was like, I'm always like more sad and I don't know why. So then just try to like learn about it and like learn I probably feel this way because of this. And then I saw some doctor or some therapist who I didn't really like a lot, but he helped me focus like the fact that I had been through trauma, like short-term and long-term, which is like two different things, PTSD, CPSD, something like that, two different ones. And he's like combining that, a lot of people do short-term trauma and long-term trauma. So he's trying to like help me focus on that. I feel like learning that like been traumatized essentially for like 6 years when I was with my first boyfriend because he sucked. And then I was just like in a bad car accident and I got broken into like while I was home. And
oh my God, what?
38th Street, surprise. I was home and I like heard him trying to get in my door and my door didn't open from the outside and I could hear my cat freaking out, not the same cat, a different one. And I was like, oh. And then I heard it, and then I got my gun, and I loaded it, and he heard it, and he stopped. I was like, shit. And then I walked out there with it, and he was already gone. He, like, broke down my front door. There was, like, a $100 bill laying on the front table. My roommate's door, which was before mine was open. There was shit all over the house he could have taken, and he switched straight to my room. I'm like...
So he couldn't get your door open?
Yeah.
He got into your house, though?
Yeah, he broke down the front door.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, with, like, chain lock and, like, bolts and stuff, and couldn't get into my door because it just wouldn't open from the outside for some reason. And you could see like the things in it. He was trying to like a flathead. He was trying to get open. I was like, shit. So that sucked for a while, and I was like, damn. I didn't like really realize it how it like did like mess with me. I thought it was just kind of like a whatever. Like I took care of myself. Like I was safe and. Just kind of like learning like, oh, like trauma's trauma and it's going to get you in a certain way. And I didn't realize it. And then it was just like, oh, okay. I don't know. Your life is like a book report and it's never over. You just keep working on it. So that's what I learned. It's like, I just got to keep figuring like out the pieces like, oh, this is why. And this is why. And like, that's fine. You just have to learn how to like, it's cool to be triggered when it's not cool, but like, it's okay. Yeah. It's going to like, Dylan, so like if he reaches towards me too quick, I'll flinch. And like I'm like, that's never gonna go away. Like it's nothing you've ever done, like nothing, you will ever do, but it's just you just learn certain things when you're being traumatized and it just kind of always happens.
What can supporters do in those situations, like dealing with someone who has PTSD, has trauma? Like what's the best thing that supporter can do for you?
So just being cautious of it. Like sometimes I just don't want to be in a certain place. Sometimes I don't want to be around certain people and like, it's okay. Like sometimes I'll be at a bar, everything's cool. And all of a sudden I'm like all of a sudden I'm just like feeling like everything is like hitting me at once. And I'm like, oh shit, like everything's bad. I'm like, I just need to leave. And it's just like, that's like the friends I have now have all kind of had their own issues. So it's easier to understand when you've gone through it. But like, I have friends that haven't been through it and they're still like, you don't want to come to my house? That's fine. Like, it's small things. Like, they're just not putting things against you. Like, sometimes, like, I just can't do certain things or sometimes certain things make me feel a certain way and I shouldn't, like, have to explain it. It's just, I feel like having to explain everything to people is like if Dylan got upset at me every time that like I flinched, it would hurt my feelings. I'd be like, it's not your fault, man. Like I just sometimes people get their ass beat and it's just like it hurt. Like it's like it's with you for the rest of your life. So it's just like I don't know, just being aware of it and like not questioning people and making them feel because it's just, I feel like it's just such a world right now where the world triggered is people are just, I'm like, but it's like, it happens. Like, it's like PTSD people only associate with the army. So anytime I've said it, people go, oh, were you in the army? I'm like, no, like, it's like post-traumatic stress disorder. Like, it's any trauma. Like, I can relate to people in the army. Like,
not post-war disorder.
No, exactly. Like, I have a guy in the army that was in the army in my office who, like, you know, he's very open about it and, like, very comforting about it. And it's just, like, the same type, but it's just different experiences,
yep.
Obviously.
What would you say to somebody who maybe feels like they might be alone? Like, I feel like I'm the only one who's going through trauma or has PTSD or...
I mean, I feel like anybody that goes through it does feel alone, like, regardless if you're not or not, because it's just, everyone's experience is different. Like, my experience with abuse isn't the same as somebody else's, which is why, like, when I was in it, I was like, oh, like, you know, he doesn't do this, this, or this, so I'm not being abused. Like, he's not, you know, physically beating my ass, so I'm not being abused, but he's mentally, sexually, you know, verbally abusing me, which is all still abuse. So I feel like a lot of people just, I don't know, I feel like just finding, like, other people who also go through it. Like, I have a friend, her name's also Emily. She also, like, has really bad PTSD, so it's easier for us to just be like, I can just see in her face sometimes, and I'm like,
you know, yeah,
you need to go home. Like, to go home. Like, you don't, no one needs you here right now. Like, you need to go home. Like, that's where you need. So it's just,
man, that must be so helpful.
Like, she can just see, like, a change in my face. Like, a lot of people can't. Like, oh, she's just having a bad day, and she's like, fuck. Like, she's bugging right now, and I'm like, it's just finding other people. It's like, wow, the trauma is not going to be the same. How you feel, and then, like, you building off of each other, and, like, it just helps you be more aware of it, helps you be more, like, helping each other and, like, learning to deal with it. Like, how do you deal with it? Well, this is how I deal with it. Then kind of, it's hard to be like, who's been traumatized? Like, hello. Like, it's just, I don't know, which it's hard to find, which she's really the first person that I've been able to.
How'd you guys meet?
Work.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to be her friend, and she didn't like me because she thought this dude she liked me. And I was like, oh, no, I have a big time BF. And she's like, oh, he, like, called you a nickname. It's like, Chevy? It's like, everybody calls me that. I've been getting called that since middle school. She's like, oh. And I was like, I was going to be your friend whether you liked it or not. I kept trying to, like, talk to her, and she was just like, okay.
That's usually, like, an extrovert thing. Like, you're going to be my friend. Like,
well, because I knew her. I was like, bitch, I know you want to be my friend. Like, I know, like, I could just see it in you. Like, a lot of women have internalized misogyny, so it's hard for them to be friends with other people. Which I see it. I'm like, it's cool. Like, I had that real bad when I was younger. I used to hate girls because I was just like a dick. Like, it wasn't anything they did. I was just insecure in myself. And so a lot of females still deal with that. And I'm like, I love you. Like, I know you don't like me for whatever, and that's cool. Like, I know it's nothing I did, but I love you. And then most of the time they come around. And
where are we at with mental health today?
I feel like much further than we've ever been. Like, I feel like it used to be, I don't know, I just feel like it's being shown in so many different ways. Like, people are dealing with things in different ways. Every type of person's, like, unfortunately, like, a lot of celebrities, like, you see it in a lot of that in, like, sad ways. And I'm like, so it's just becoming, like, more apparent and more aware. And I feel like people are being more sensitive to it and, like, trying to be more helpful to it. Like, I can even just see it at my jobs. Like, my job 10 years ago didn't give a shit about mental health. But my job now is just like, you shouldn't lose your job because of what's going on with you. Like, they've told me that several times. And I'm like, cool. I like you guys. Like, it's just, they're getting, it's just not like I feel like people thought it was like a cop-out or something back in the day. Like, people are just like, oh, they're sad. Like, that's how it felt. So you couldn't be, like, you couldn't take care of yourself and not seen as weird or something. And now I feel like it's actually good. Like, people are like, oh, everyone wants to take care of themselves, I feel like. But
what would be, like, a recommendation for, like, a solution to improve someone's mental health or overall society's health for mental?
Reading and not being on their phone. I think people should be on their phone a lot less. Like,
do you read a lot?
Yeah, I mean, I like to read.
You read anything right now?
You know the podcast, My Favorite Murder?
Yeah.
I was just finishing their book, but I wasn't wanting to finish it.
So I've been wanting to tell you this for a very long time, but you look exactly like Karen.
We have the same birthday.
No way.
Yes, we do.
What?
I was hoping you were going to say that. We have the same birthday. I love Karen Kirby. Oh my gosh.
Karen
Kilgare
is, oh my God. You guys are like doppelgangers, or at least like you're her daughter. Like for sure.
I would love to be your daughter. She'd be pissed.
Plus the personality's pretty close.
I'll like write into them and be like, hey Karen, we have the same birthday. I'll tweet at her every year. I'm like, what do you want to do for our birthday, girl? Never replies. I'm like, all right, next year, girl, I got you.
I always go, Steven.
I don't know any Stevens and it bums me out.
Yeah. But that's one of my favorite podcasts.
I love that one. I love that. And there's one called True Crime Obsessed, and it took me a while to get into it because like it's just a lot. But the girl in it, her name's Jillian, and she is the funniest person. I can't. She's just from New York, and she's just New York. And I love New York. It's funny. It's one of my faves. I found like a YouTuber, and for whatever reason, I can't not like just bust out laughing. Oh yeah. And it was one of those things that I didn't realize how long it had been since you do like a spit take or like done like where your stomach kind of hurts. Oh yeah, yeah. And then you're just like, why is this funny? I'm just laughing like this guy's so funny. Oh yeah. But there's some of them that are just can't. And that's what I love about like comedians and stuff like that. Is like they've all gone through shit, and like that's why they're comedians. They're like, you just use that for all of that stuff I've been through. I'm like, that's tight. So, what are your general thoughts, like with counseling? You've kind of done some a little bit, but like, what are your overall thoughts on counseling? I think it's super important. I think everybody should go to some kind of therapy, whether you're super depressed, super anxious, or not. Like, I think both my parents go to therapy, and it's always been anxious for me to even like look for one, because I've gone for a couple of different ones, and it's just I feel like none of them I've like vibed with or I've ever been like completely like truthful to, because I just like don't trust them. And I'm like, I ain't gonna tell you shit. I don't know. I just know there's like different avenues I can find, and I know it can be easier for me to find somebody, but it's just like I feel like I haven't gone through the proper steps, and I need to, because I feel like everybody needs to. I get anxious even doing it. Like, yeah. No, that's so true though. Like there is anxiety about, researching for a counselor or getting, there is anxiety behind that. It's totally normal. And being an introvert, I'm like, I'm going to have to find somebody, call them on the phone, set up an appointment, put in my ways what the address is, drive there, sit in a waiting room, sit in a room with somebody I don't know for however long, telling them like my feelings, like, and then go home. Like, that's just a lot when I could not be doing that instead. Right. And it's like the last lady I went to, like, it was like at my hospital that I go to, and it was just, I'm like, why you guys set me up with her? Like, she treated me like I was like a baby, and she was all about like drug rehab, and she like asked me if I smoked weed. I was like, yeah. And she's like, how much? I'm like, God, I'm not telling you. Like, I smoked a blunt on the way here. Like, I was like, like a blunt a day. She's like, so when you pick up this blunt, how does it make you feel? I'm like, we're not doing this. I was like, I gotta go, actually. I was like, I'm not. So I feel like I don't know if I'm just too picky, but I was like crying, and she started freaking out. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think you're too picky. I was like, if I cry, like, it's cool. Like, what? You're a therapist. Like, you're asking me about, like, personal shit. I'm like, I'm going to cry. And she's like, okay, everything's fine. I'm like, girl, like, I know it's fine. I was like, I'm cool. Just let me do it. That's right. I mean, it's like dating. It really is. Yeah. Because you're opening up to some of the most vulnerable parts of yourself. Like, if you're trying to do it right, like, that's the goal is to, I'm going to tell you about that time that, like, I've told no one on earth but probably you about XYZ. Yeah. Like that's the type of person that you ideally would want, and you don't, just like in dating and in marriage or whatever, like someone who's in a long term, you don't just, say like, we're committed day one, it takes time and stuff. So I appreciate your honesty. Yeah. I mean, just being like, it's been frustrating. It does, like, I don't know. It really is like that. Like, I just can't. Like, they always just try to make me dive deep day one. I'm like, oh my God, I don't remember your first name. Like, don't So I feel like it's been hard for me. So I don't know. I know there's going to be there's good people out there and there's different avenues I can go down to do it. But unfortunately, a lot of insurances don't. That's one thing that should change mental health. Insurance should cover more therapy shit.
Yes.
Because it doesn't. It's stupid. I'm like, all right, cool.
The nuts part, I can't remember where I saw it, but it was on a documentary that there was a girl who attempted suicide, and they admitted her to the hospital, and they didn't cover the hospital bills because they didn't approve it as needed care because she didn't attempt suicide enough. So
try harder next time, bitch.
Right.
What?
Yeah. So she would have to fail at least another time for them to cover the medical. So now they have all these hospital bills that weren't able to be filed under insurance. So because apparently some insurance companies have doctors on staff, just as a doctor would be like, oh yeah, this is they actually work for the insurance company to say no, that's not needed healthcare. It's so stupid. For me personally, going to counseling, when I turned 26, last year, getting on my own insurance plan was I didn't realize how good insurance I had to go see a counselor for $20. And now it's 80 to 100 to people I've talked to, it's 200 for an hour. So it's it's unbelievable. Depending on the insurance, it could be that kind of stuff. And so with my deductible being so high, I don't even file it under insurance because I won't even meet my deductible by the end of the year.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd rather just pay me out of pocket. I'll adjust for your income than for you to pay. So it's it's just absolutely nuts. So when you're best friends or someone who's close to you, when they're not doing very well, what do you do for them that's your go-to, always helps?
Depends on who they are, because everyone needs something different. My friend Nicole is the smartest person I know. She's just incredible. She's got a lot of love to give, but when she's not doing well, she can't do anything. She has the type of anxiety. She physically cannot do anything, and a lot of people don't get it. But I'm I've seen her do shit before. So it's when I know when she's not doing well, it's she just can't. She just doesn't want to do it. She's just nope. I'd rather just be in bed all day. During the winter, I was going to her house every day, just cleaning her house up, just doing everything I could so that she could come home. She works nights anyway, so it's already kind of depressing. So she just comes home and her house was nice and smelled fine. Her dog's already taken out. One of them's bad and likes to shit on the floor because he's a bad dog. Well, it's her mom's dog, so she has to take care of her mom's dog and then her dog who's perfect, and then this other dog that we had found. Yeah. I named Kevin. They call her Isla, whatever. She looks like a Kevin. And so she has to take care of 3 dogs. And it's that sucks for anyone. That's hard for anyone. So I just I know if I just buy her presents and clean her house, it makes her happy. I've got friends that just want a conversation. That one's harder for me, but it's become easier because I know that's what they need. I'm you need to just talk this out. You need to just tell me what it is that's going on, and I need to give you my honest feedback. I'm everything's fine. I'm no, maybe you shouldn't do that. I don't think you're going to be happy if you do. I know that's what they need, and then I have other friends that just need to be left alone. They don't want to see anybody, talk to anybody. They don't need me telling them, I love you, what can I do for you? Just kind of how I am. Just
yeah.
So you just got to learn your people and know what's right for them, because there's been a lot of friendships where they thought that what was right for them was also right for me. I'm negative. You're giving me nothing and I'm giving you everything. So you just have to find what's best for those people.
If you're in an abusive relationship, or whether physically, mentally, sexually, whatever you any type of abuse, any tips for that situation, or the friends of someone who might be in that situation, what you can do, or anything, comments on that?
The unfortunate part is, for most people, they have to get burned before they learn. And that's what had to happen to me. My dad was not stoked about it. I'm a super open person with my friends, and I was hiding the fact that I was seeing him, and because I knew it was wrong, and got to a point where I was I know this is wrong, but I'm not gonna stop because I'm so in it that I'm it was worse to not be with him than it was to be with him. Like, he made my life suck when I wasn't with him. So, like, kind of had to be. So, I don't know. It was just, like, the people that stuck around for me. What abusers do is they go outside your circle and try to, like, not only isolate you, but, like, ruin the relationships around you. So he tried ruining, like, with my parents, like, with my best friends, and, like, their reactions to him were like, it's fine. Like, no, like, please don't, or just, respond, just not taking it. Like, he's manipulative. That's what they do. Like, they manipulate and they're good at it. So, like, don't listen to him. You know what I mean? So it was just to have people that actually supported you and didn't tell you, like, I don't need to be told I'm doing something wrong, because I know I am. Just support's nice. Like, take care of those people, because they don't even really know. But if you notice it, just kind of making sure they're okay and making sure you kind of know what's going on with them, even if they're not going to tell you. Just
because I know, like, it'd be way easier if you're like to go and report it, and then you may make things worse. I mean, I'm not like an expert on.
I tried to get a restraining order on him because he told me he was going to kill me, and then they said that I didn't have like enough to report. I was like, I'm 17. I don't know the rules. So it was just nice to have at least my parents, my dad would kill him, so it's fine.
What's something you want to do before you die?
I want to have a farm just full of all the animals. I want the dogs and the cats and the horses, and I want a rat farm. And I want to train them, and we'll do tricks. We'll go on America's Got Talent. And we'll win. That'd be so much fun. Oh my gosh, a rat training camp. That's what I want to do before I die. That sounds tight. I don't know. I just would like to just have a way I can always take care of animals and learn about animals and be around them.
Yeah.
But a big old farm where all the ones that aren't loved can come to, and I can take care of them like the angels they are. Just like
I have to do it.
I have to do it. I'll go buy a farm tomorrow.
2020 goal.
Find my passion. That's actually what it is. I'm gonna figure out what I want to do, like as a career, and then what I want to do for myself. Don't know yet. It's only Feb. It's only Febs. I can't get there yet. I still got a few more months.
What's your relationship with weed?
Me and weed are like best friends. I don't know. I just love it. Makes me happy. I feel like my life has gotten better since smoking it. I used to be like, weed kills you. And then I tried it and I was like, this is tight. I'm not going to not be able to pay my bills because I got weed.
That's
type
good.
of thing. Like I don't know, when I first started out, like my brother was like, you're never buying mids. You're never spending more than this on each size. Like, he's like, if somebody tries to charge you too much, tell them you're good and you'll find somebody else and they'll probably sell it to you for that price anyway. I'm like, all right. So it was nice having him and just not being irresponsible with it, but it makes things better and easier. And I don't use it as a, because I had the therapist, I was like, yeah, I like to use it for my depression. They're like, do not do that. I'm like, got it. So I'm like, I'm not going to just smoke when I'm sad, or it's like drinking, but it's not addictive or anything. I'm just like, I'm not going to just do it, to do it. I'm going to do it like.
So you're in favor of legalizing it?
It should definitely be legalized. Yeah. One of my aunt, who was like soups against weed, she had like a real bad car accident a couple of years ago, in pain all the time, then tried CBD, which I never thought she would. She was like, holy shit. She's like, I've never felt so good in my life. I'm like, that's weed.
Yeah. So would you recommend CBD for people that like, if weed's too intense?
Yeah. I mean, Dylan cannot. Like, he would love to, but he loses his mind. He cannot. And like, he'll try like a little CBD, and it's like, okay, sometimes it's still too much for him to smoke, but like, I mean.
Too much out, just like, get too zonked out?
No, makes him real anxious.
Yeah.
Makes him real anxious, and like, I don't know, I think he used to smoke it and just try to ignore it, which probably made it worse. But now he's smart and takes care of himself. So
yeah,
some people, and that's what sucks. I'm like, thankfully for me, I'm like, weed's not for everybody. Like, thankfully for me, it makes me super happy. And some people, it freaks them out and they want to just die. Like, and I'm like, that sucks. Like, some people can't be productive at all. Like, so I can't not be productive. Like, it's just, it affects everybody different in different moderations.
What's one of your most proud moments of your life?
I mean, I guess I'm saying that I'm proud that I am so comfortable with myself, because I know it is like not easy for people. Like, I've embraced, like, as you were saying today, I've just embraced who I am. Like, I'm happy with myself. Like, I love myself more than what a lot of people can say, unfortunately. Like, I feel like, especially females, which really bums me out, but, like, people just can't love themselves and they think they do. And I'm like, you don't even know yourself yet. Like, you need, like, I don't know. Some people just don't get it. And when they do, like, you can tell. And there's, like, friends of mine that I've seen that, like, used to definitely not be that way. And now they've just, like, transformed and you can see it. And it's just, like, you are much happier in life if you're happier with yourself. Like, I'm not like an anxious mess all the time, but, like, I'm not just super depressed and, like, super uncomfortable everywhere I go and just, like, unhappy for no reason all the time. I love myself. I think I'm funny. Like, I make myself laugh, and that's all that really matters. So I don't care. Like, I'm nice to people. Like, I'm a good aunt. I'm a good daughter. I'm a good girlfriend, I think. I'm a good friend. I'm like, all right. Like, I'm doing good. Like, I don't have a lot of money, and I don't, like, live in a big house or whatever, all that shit, but I live on the east side.
Yeah, you don't live on 38th Street anymore.
I don't live on 38th Street anymore. I live on the east side.
All right, so let's do our final 5 here. These are some fun, quick hit questions for you.
All right.
Number 1, the one article of clothing if someone wore on a first date, you would instantly walk out.
Flip-flops. I don't want to see them toes. Get them out of here. Like, sir, please. Like, we are in a restaurant. Like, it is disgusting.
Your most used emoji.
I like the one where it's got the one eye closed and one eye open. Because I think it looks stupid.
The zombie apocalypse just started, but you get 3 other people, anybody, to join you in like an all-star zombie apocalypse team.
Jessica Alba.
Okay.
Paul Rudd. And Dylan.
There you go. Why?
Jessica Alba's hot, and she used to be in Dark Angel, so I'm sure she's super strong. Paul Rudd's soup's funny, real fun, good guy. I'm sure he could just keep us all together, having a fun time, and then Dylan could beat all the zombies' asses.
What's your wrestler entrance song?
I'm so glad you asked this. I think about this a lot. UGK International Player Anthem. That is what I wish that played every time I walked into a room. My bitch you choose it, lover never fuck without a rubber.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Never in the sheets like it. I love that song. Song makes me so happy.
I do a Danger Zone.
Danger Zone.
I went to the Danger Zone.
That's good.
Have one of those like robes with like planes all over it.
Planes?
Yeah, because it's from Top Gun.
Okay, that's fun.
Maybe do like a plane dance.
You could just be a giant plane.
Yes.
Get like a cardboard box and jump from the ceiling and fly.
What is your favorite part of yourself?
I'm super patient. Like, I don't even know how patient I am, but I guess I'm super patient, and things just don't piss me off easily. Like, I can say things piss me off, but, like, I don't care. Like, I really just don't care.
All right, now you got to pick a person, significant other, best friend, sister, brother, whoever you want. Shout them out. Shout out Janice from 8th grade. You know, whoever you want, but you're pouring into them, and then you're going to share this part of them on the podcast.
My best friend, Haley. She's my first best friend in Indiana from 6th grade until now. We went through The Good Charlotte's, Simple Plan, My Chemical Romances, Hillary Duff's, Britney Spears's, Cheetah Girls, Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, all those, to now, you know, smoking weed and making art. Like, I feel like we've been through every single terrible stage in her life, but we always say, like, I was always just, like, a year behind her. Like, she would deal with something. Like, we lost our virginity exactly a year apart. Like, we were all, like, not on purpose. It was on Christmas Eve. Really helped me with the communication thing. She loves to talk. I did not like to talk about feelings. And she would, like, not force me, but she knew what was best for me. And so it's just, she really, just having somebody you can rely on, like, for that long. Like, not a lot of people in your life stay in your life that long, so. She's just gonna be there forever. And people used to always say that we weren't gonna still be best friends after high school. We said, fuck you. Look at us now, bitches. We're still weird as fuck and together doing it. So, suck it.
Yay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Bye.
Am I supposed to say bye?
Yeah, sure.
Bye.
Hey everybody, this is Ryan from the Classic Buffalo Podcast. Wanted to take a second to talk about Anchor, how I'm actually making this podcast happen. Super happy that I'm partnering with them. So, Anchor is actually the easiest way to make a podcast. I've done my research. This is basically the best way. I promise. It's going to give you everything you need in one place for free, which is the best part. It's going to have tools, so you don't really need a fancy schmancy recording guy. Anchor's going to be helping you out there, and then they're going to distribute the podcast everywhere to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, everything. And then you can also make money with basically no minimum listenership, which is kind of rare. So hop on Anchor as soon as you can. Thanks. And that's the end of the episode. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in this week to Classic Buffalo and listening to our conversation. Hopefully you were able to glean some information from it. Maybe you learned some stuff about Emily. Maybe you made a new friend. Go reach out, DM her, become friends. She's really cool. She's one of my friends. So if she's one of my friends, she's got to be cool. So that's how it goes in the streets. But yeah, Emily, shout out to you. Thank you so much for just being yourself. Even if this only changes one person and that person is you, it's worth it just to talk with you and just get your story out there. And you're a goofball just like me, and so having two goofballs talk for about an hour and a half or whatever, that's always a good time. So just a few things, the whole domestic abuse and manipulation, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. I hope if you're in a similar situation that there are tools out there. There are people that will be supportive or can do their best to be there for you, even in these COVID times. You're not alone in this. A lot of times in these things, they're not just in your face, like, hey, I'm abusing my boyfriend, my girlfriend, I'm in an abusive situation. It's not always just broadcast to the world, but I'm sure sometimes it is. But, as supporters, we need to step up to the plate. We need to help out where we can. I don't personally have anyone in my life that is dealing with that, so it's a little difficult for me. But, if you know somebody who's at risk, please reach out, be there supportive. I'm not exactly sure, what the best way to help is, but, I think Emily kind of touched on some things, and hopefully you can take away just some warning signs or just some things to be aware of if you or someone you may know may be kind of at risk. I'm sure there are Indiana resources. I know things are kind of a little bit different with the COVID-19 stuff, but, I know the resources, they are out there, and ultimately, please share your story. You don't have to do it at a public platform like this, but at least just share with somebody that you're close with what's going on. Light can be closer than you think. It doesn't have to be years down the road, and you just have to, it is what it is. Don't settle for that. Do your best to fight. And, I was looking at this meme the other day. It was like, I'm not going to give up because I want to see what happens if I don't. And if you're in a tough situation in a relationship or just in general during these tough times, don't give up, because maybe it's worth to see what happens if you don't. And, I'm doing okay. Still just another week. I think it's week 6, 7, something like that. My job says I might be going back to work in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something like that. But at this point, I feel like I've proven that I can work remotely for 6 weeks. Who's to say, I don't have to pull a lever necessarily. I might be able to convince, the people to maybe stay a little bit remote, a little bit more, just because we don't know how serious this is still, and I can still get my job done remotely. But guys, it's just, we're still in the middle of it. Another thing I saw was kind of releasing pressure during this time of the coronavirus isn't a productivity exercise or something like that. I'm messing it up. But the point was that this time period isn't necessarily you have to get everything all set up, but it's an opportunity to make progress towards something. If you want to build something, if you want to read a book, if you want to do something, you do have more time now, but you don't have to. You don't have to get everything all set up within a couple of months by the end of the, that's not the point of this. We didn't sit down and say, hey, why don't we just shut everything down for 3 months or however long this will last, or on and off for 3 months and on and off and on and off. So I can start my business, or I can start becoming a musician. That's not the point. We're all like having shitty situations. We can't hug our loved ones. We can't, or at least we necessarily shouldn't be, I suppose. But, we can't hang out with friends. We can't do, like, our entire state of life across the world has been changed in some form or fashion. Some of us are getting the brunt of the force more so than others. And if you're doing okay, please just find those people and reach out to them. For me, I may have touched on it, but like physical touch is one of my love languages. And so not being able to hug somebody, like I haven't hugged somebody in 6 weeks, that sucks like a lot. But I'm using my special time that I have, or this more time, to read. I haven't read a book in 3 years, pretty much, like a full book or whatever. And I'm almost done with this one book. So, that's cool. Or working on vintage indie, or this, Classic Buffalo. I'm being able to get more interviews because of this. Like, that's great. So, it's in this time, acknowledge the shitty situations, the financial difficulties, acknowledge the lack of friendships or just kind of connection that you feel like. Acknowledge that that's there, because a lot of people are experiencing that. But there's also some opportunity. There is. It doesn't have to be an immense opportunity, because, financially, as the world, it's going to be difficult in some ways upcoming. This will be a lot longer than we think it is, the impact. But, I'm thinking of you, those who are depressed and sad and anxious and confused and alone and unemployed. And, I had to Google what furlough was, because my friend Matt, who was actually on the podcast, he's like, yeah, I was furloughed. I was like, did you mean quarantined? It turns out furlough just means you're basically like temporarily laid off, because you'll come back when this is all over. But, it's just kind of like, I've had everything from I haven't been affected to this is basically vacation for me to, this is really affecting me. It's a lot of different running the gambit, but, I'm doing okay. And that's evidenced by me doing this podcast. But, try to get out when you can and be protective, like take walks, but wear your masks and gloves if you have them. Social distance as per usual. And if you'd like to be on this podcast, be like Emily, become my friend. We can do a Zoom call, basically. We'll be doing that at pretty much any time after 5 o'clock during the week, or, most times during the weekend. So hit me up. We'll get on for another hour and a half and just shoot the shit. So, but yeah, until next time, it's been your boy Ryan, and stay alive till next time. It'll be sooner than you know. Hope is right around the corner. Bye, guys.